Symptom management, you know, that closest thing you might ever get to having a cure. And that's if you're lucky. One thing that I've been dealing with lately is a ton of nausea. And the ways that I used to use to control the symptoms have made it untouchable. And sometimes when you live with an illness in which it's not curable, you have to live and learn and figure out ways to manage your symptoms. You have to keep them at a baseline, and sometimes that means you still are feeling those symptoms, just they're manageable and they're tolerable to you in your life. Sometimes those symptoms are going to be easier to control than other times, and sometimes when your symptoms are out of control, it happens at the most inconvenient times. For some people, controlling their symptoms can be as easy as making sure they eat properly and making sure they stay in routine and work out and live a pretty scheduled and balanced life. And when they get out of that schedule and balanced life, they find everything falls apart. And to each their own. But for me personally, I find it doesn't matter what I do. If I live a scheduled life, if I don't, I'm still constantly dealing with symptoms and trying to hide them. It doesn't matter about the stress levels or the way I live my life. If my body wants to have uncontrollable symptoms to its will, it will. And sometimes once you find something that's working to help control those symptoms, it stops working completely. Which means you have to start over with medication trials and lifestyle changes. Yep. Chronic illness is pretty rough sometimes, and sometimes when you feel like you've tried everything, you feel defeated. I have tried so many different ways to control my symptoms, from diet, making sure I walk, making sure I go to bed at the same time, making sure my meals are at the same time. But when those bad days come, my symptoms are really hard to figure out. We need cures and research and awareness to be made, because no one, and I mean no one, should ever have to rely on a symptom management plan. They should be cured.